Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Leverage China E-commerce and Key Opinion Leaders to Sell Your Brand in China. Today's webinar is organized by Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My name is Daniel, and I will be your host and moderator today. I'm also the Chief Representative of Dubai Chamber in China, based in our office here in Shanghai. To commence the webinar, I just want to go over a few short housekeeping topics. Today's webinar has been recorded, so you'll be able to access it later after we email you the link. We welcome you to revisit the content, get in touch with us, and share it with your friends and colleagues. We also invite you to add your comments and questions throughout the event, which you can do by accessing the Q&A tab at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We will address these questions at the end of the session in the Q&A session. Finally, during this webinar, your microphone will be disabled by our virtual host. This is in order to ensure a smooth Zoom experience and a smooth operation of the webinar. It is recommended you exit all background applications and other inactive web tabs to avoid your internet from overloading. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to introduce our first speaker today to give you an overview and a speech. His name is Mr. Omar Han. He's the Director of International Offices at Dubai Chamber. Omar, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel. It's really great to be here, and I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope you're staying safe, and your loved ones and your colleagues in your companies are also doing the same. Today's event is very pivotal. China is our number one business partner, and despite having the COVID challenges, our figures are growing from strength to strength. Our average trade is about $42 billion every year. The growth rate between 2009 and 2018, almost 10 years, was about 81%. And I believe that we are just scratching the surface as a facilitator of the Chinese industries. We have about 3,300 Chinese businesses established here in Dubai, bridging the gap between China and the rest of the world as an intermediary, and also we have a lot of businessmen in addition going into China now. Buying from China and exporting out of China into the rest of the world is something much easier. What we are trying to do here today through our international offices and the partners is to go uphill. The more challenging part is how can we leverage our capabilities, our connections to help our businesses understand which products are actually attractive in the Chinese markets and how is the Chinese market selling culture work, especially in e-commerce. It's a very savvy industry. There are a lot of, as I said, key opinion leaders or influencers. The culture is very strong there. So it needs a little cultural understanding in terms of business. And this is hopefully what we hope to bring to the table today to help educate our business community on how to get into it. Yes, it is an uphill battle, but it's definitely achievable if you set your targets and you're consistent and you stay engaged. With the COVID challenges, we believe that more and more companies are looking outwards. They are no longer comfortable sitting here. They feel the challenge, the economic pressure. And this is good news as well for many different economies where companies are ready to explore new alternatives. So with this, I wish to thank you once again for being here, and I hope you find this event very useful and you pass it on to somebody else who will too. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Omar, for your opening remarks. And as Omar said, now is the perfect time for our Dubai companies to consider exporting to China. So without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker.
Mr. Tong Hao, Managing Director of Talk China, who is going to give us a presentation on cross-border e-commerce, new brand China entry opportunity. Mr. Tong, the floor is...
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opening speech from Omar and Daniel and Junjie's introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's been an honor to be here sharing about the cross-border e-commerce. Maybe this concept is a bit new to you, but we were using at least today's sharing to build the overall concept to help you understand how this cross-border e-commerce become one of the great opportunity for the new brand market entry in China. So starting with quickly self-introduction. My name is Tong Hao, and our company eTalk actually comes from e-commerce to China. These positioning and key services we are doing. So basically, we are a business consulting company that specializes in e-commerce marketplaces, analysis, and consulting. Also, these helping the international brands sell and grow their China business. And we can, with our background, most of us, we founded this company that with two teams based in Germany and China, working with English, German, and Chinese, three languages set up to help our international business being able to be cultivated and well prepared for China markets. So from our experience, we have already introduced over 100 European companies to China. Given our background, mostly from the German, from the European markets, and our clients cover both from large corporations and also the new SMEs to China market. So with the skillful e-commerce operation expertise, which I accumulated from the past 6 years in Alibaba, in Tmall, which help us to give a much more solid services to our clients specialized in China e-commerce world. Okay, so first, Omar also mentioned a little bit about how the China market dynamic and so fast growing. And this also, I would just want to share with you about the whole the e-commerce market values among different countries. Now, in nowadays, China already become the biggest e-commerce markets, which accounts for 45% of the global e-commerce sales, which took $2.2 billion US dollars, which surpassed United States and Japan to be the first, to be the #1 biggest e-commerce market in the world. But also to do a business in China is very different from the overall Western's knowledge. So from the major online different functions from search, like search platforms, search tools, we are different from the Westerns. We have Baidu instead of Google. Like in terms of social media, in Westerns, like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are the most common and familiar apps they're using. But in China, we're totally different. Consumers are using WeChat, Weibo, TikTok instead of those. Also, same situation happens in videos platform, messaging platform, and e-commerce platform, etc. as well. Especially in e-commerce, it's very different from the Western countries. Western countries like marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, sitting together with other all different kinds of the branded vertical websites. Consumers are sophisticated enough to go to all different kinds of the branded vertical official websites to go shopping. But in China, it's mostly dominated by the major marketplaces like Taobao, Tmall, JD, etc. So specifically in e-commerce world, from the marketplaces point of view, Tmall accounts 50% of the market share, followed by JD, which is 26.5%, followed by another a very new and uprising fastly platform which called Pinduoduo PDD, which took already 12%. So those big three marketplaces combined contributes over 89% of the total market share. So when the new brands talking about going to e-commerce in China, first they're thinking about definitely Tmall, JD as the first destinations they're thinking about. So we took a little bit further view about the Tmall, which belongs to Alibaba Group. So Alibaba Group holds a really big retail marketplaces networks, which covering major different business models. First is the Taobao platform, which is a C2C platform, which we can understand is similar to eBay, enables the individual sellers sell the products to the consumers directly. And that is the one of the biggest marketplaces, and which counts the 55% of Alibaba total retail market values. And the Tmall is another which we call business to consumers, which enables the companies, the brand owners, set up their own stores. If we take an example, which we can understand, like if you go to a shopping mall. Tmall is just like an online virtual shopping mall. Enables different kinds of the brands set up their own stores within this shopping mall. And this represents one of the most the official products, official brand experiences provided by the brand owner itself. So this took another 45% of the total Alibaba retail market shares. And another concept we're talking about, which is today is our major topic, is a Tmall, is a cross-border business model. So in Alibaba, they have another cross-border business model platform, which is called Tmall Global. And it's a very new and fast growing. It's tying with the government's policies, government's regulations on the Chinese government's regulations of promoting the import business. So it's already it took 1% of the total Tmall sales. So this is a major structure to help understand those different concepts, different business models as a starting point. So later, if you have any a question, definitely I think you have a lot of questions about the different models, different concepts. So if you have any question, feel free to ask in a Q&A session, and we can do we can follow up on that later. So yeah, to our point, cross-border e-commerce actually is our key topic today, because it's created a new opportunity, especially for the new brand, the new SME is trying to set up their China entry. So cross-border e-commerce in a business model perspective is a regulated business model which promoted from the Chinese government that allows the international companies, international brands to sell the products directly to the Chinese consumers through the cross-border e-commerce platforms, which authorized and customs by the Chinese customs, even without a local license to operate this business through the cross-border. So three major key attributes, key concepts to this cross-border e-commerce. First, it doesn't require a Chinese legal entity, doesn't need the product registration in China or with Chinese regulation or Chinese standards. Also doesn't need a Chinese labeling, Chinese translation labeling if we are doing the import. And it's a benefit from the favor. It's a policy such as it's a simply product registration only through the Chinese customs, and the tax rate is lower than which we are doing the traditional import to China. And also the logistics services also being constructed as a one-stop solution from Alibaba Group to facilitate. So these two major points allows the overseas brand and retailers to set up the first step by testing the Chinese market using the cross-border e-commerce solution. So this is some policy like from the government just to highlight, okay, this is a stable, regulated business models that Chinese government is promoting at the moment. So first, they lower the cross-border import tax with most of the 1.9% based on the actual selling price. And also, China, the government already increases the bonded warehouse cities from 37 to 86. It provides much more spaces and also the logistic choices for the massive brand trying to speedy the cross-border growth. And also for the consumers, they have the annual limitation of purchasing the imported products from the cross-border e-commerce platforms. Earlier, it's only like a 20,000 RMB per year. Now it's increased to 26,000 RMB per year. And compare with the traditional import business, which you might be familiar about, which you are doing with Chinese market earlier, previously. So cross-border e-commerce is much more easier and lower the threshold, especially to leverage your international legal entity to set up the business through the cross-border platform. And which we covered already. Customs, the tax, the registration is much easier. So the values for the new brands, particularly, they are leveraging the cross-border e-commerce as the easy, fast lane market entry approach, with a relatively small investment to test the products through the cross-border channels. Before they're really making a comprehensively a business setup in China, in online, offline through traditional import business model. And talking about the cross-border platforms, also Tmall Global, which we mentioned, belongs to Tmall, belongs to Alibaba Group. It's number one biggest cross-border e-commerce platforms in the market. Takes about 35% of the market share. So Tmall Global also becomes the first destination when brands thinking about leveraging cross-border e-commerce platforms. And a little bit further about Tmall Global business highlights. So for now, already over 18,000 international brands entering to Tmall Global. 80% of them are the first time to China. Still, for now, Tmall Global enjoys a very great year-on-year growth, which about 60 to 80% growth rate. Consumers in Tmall Global, particularly, they are female, they are younger. 75% the consumers are under 35 years old, and also they are much more well-educated and with highly monthly income. Even with much more a shopping frequency. And this type of the consumers who are shopping, trying to keeping up with international standards, trying to get the imported products to improve their life quality through discovering from the cross-border, at least all imported featured platforms. So these type of the consumers are formed as a bigger market to as a core consumer target to which is showing their highly preference to the international products specifically. And in Tmall Global, they offer two major business models. One is marketplace. For now, 80% of the transactions or sales are coming from the marketplaces. So in these marketplaces, it's all divided by different categories. Different brands are entering to Tmall Global to set up their own stores, like overseas supermarkets, like Aldi from Germany, like Woolworths from Costco from Australia. Also, like cosmetic brands. Cosmetic brands, beauty and cosmetic brand is the #1 best-selling category in Tmall Global. Like Lush from UK, which previously only were popular in UK markets. They leverage the Tmall Global to sell the products in China. And also, even though like for the big FMCG groups like Unilever or P&G, they already been in China for 20 years, over 20 years already, but they still can leverage the Tmall Global platforms to sell their global versions, even to sell their the brands from their global markets as a new brand to test before they really are making them into China through the traditional import model. So this is overall like a marketplace business model. Also, Tmall Global facilitates another which we call TDI, Tmall Global Direct Import Model, which is Tmall Global acting as a wholesaler perspective to wholesale the products from the suppliers, from the brands, to create. It's acting more like a online Tmall Global supermarkets type of the offerings to the consumers. So this takes another 20% of the market share. So when a new brand thinking about to go to Tmall Global, so both basically they have two business models to consider, but which is the best model for each for the brand, so we can a little bit further to learn about what's the difference between these two models. So for the flagship, to set up the brand own flagship store in the Tmall Global marketplace is we call it a flagship store model. So the positioning of flagship store model, which is to trying to create a holistic brand offerings, create individual brand portal destinations for a brand in this platform, offering the holistic, comprehensive product assortments. It's also a destination to communicate your brand values, to communicate your brand the messages. So it's both branding and sales channels for a brand. So to operate these stores, so usually you need a partner who can operate your store operations in platforms which in the Tmall environment we call it TP partner, Tmall partners. Yeah. So in order to set up this store, you need the fee structure. Later we have details like a deposit, annual fee, commission, etc. So we list out the screenshots. We list out actually it's some store front from the mobile to give you an understanding. Okay, how does this store looks like? So one is from the Spanish cosmetic brand like Easting, is there like a cosmetic brand set up their own stores, and Swiss is a Australia healthy supplements the storefront. So why we screenshot the mobile mobile screenshots, because for now in China over 95% of consumers are shopping from mobile instead of like a PC computers as a major behavior for consumers. So this is, I think, also a quite difference between compared with Western situation. Another model is a TDI model, which a brand as a supplier to wholesale to the platform. So in order to do this business model first, from platform perspective, their positioning is trying to discover some popular hero items to as a wholesale products to leverage to be built in these online supermarkets, and usually they requires very competitive selling price. or highly discounts to try to build the best choice, the best deal out of this platform. And these Tmall supermarkets with a major with a massive consumer base and traffics, which they can support these popular items to be sold in a much more like a aggressively point of view. So key operation models for suppliers is first, this product needs to build a very popular instead of really new. And also, these products is required to store in a bonded warehouse to speed the time to the consumers. And also, they also require some fee structures, like to be suppliers of this platform, they need to put some deposit. Also, like and with a certain like a wholesale prices, working with Tmall Global supermarkets directly. And so after these two major business models, so we also, you might have a question about, okay, maybe I found one particular business model working with us. So how to set up my business through this cross-border e-commerce? So we have listed out the major four phases. So first, usually as a new brand, trying to quickly implement the business to China, to find a sole distributors in China is usually will be the quickest way. So in terms of, so when we're looking for some Chinese distributors who can distribute our products in China markets, usually I think from the consideration or suggestion perspective, first you need to think about this distributor, whether they have relevant category experience, whether they understand your products in your categories. Second, if they have the cross-border e-commerce operation experience, because doing the distribution in offline versus in online are very different practice. So particularly to cultivate some new brands in China, we looking to look for some partners who with a direct e-commerce experience is a plus. Is a very important factors. Is a starting point. So if these distributors who are really strong in your category, maybe, but they might not have the cross-border e-commerce like experience. So which we need another like a partners to work with, which is we call TP. So TP is a agency. If we're thinking about like advertising, we have the advertising agency who are specialized in doing the marketing, doing the brand communication. So the TP is a service agency who provide professional e-commerce operation, like store operation service, and they always responsible for store sales achievements. So if your distributor who don't have the e-commerce operation service, so you might need leverage this distributor plus like a TP model for your e-commerce business setup. So this is step one to find a business partner before implement your business in China. Second, concrete business plan. So when we're talking about go to China, go to market, I think some very fundamental questions we need to think about is how do we understand this market well? How do we understand this market competition? How do we understand our assortment potentials? How they be able to compete in this market? How do we set up the right pricing to which fit to the market? And also which logistics solutions we are going to take, and in which investment levels to support this business, and in order to build a healthy, solid business growing path. So this second step is also very needed. It might be developed with your distributors together. And third, once we have this very solid business plan, so we can have to, if we are trying to set up the stores, so we go to a store application step. Like, for example, if we are going to apply a store in Tmall Global, it's just like doing some online application process that usually TP is helping the brand to do that. So documents preparation, like a payment, account registration, online application, these very practical, like specific, like steps is going to be through these steps. And afterwards, it goes to the store design, the product page design, like your inventory preparation, customer service training, etc., to help prepare the store going to launch. So these are the major 4 steps. Definitely, these 4 steps actually cost certain times or certain preparation in each. But overall, you build an overall like ideas on what's the key contents of that in order to build a store. So some logistics solutions, maybe depend on the time. We are not going into details, but later definitely you have these doc presentations, a lot of like very practical information. Also, you can learn from that, including also the fee structure. Like if you set up the store, what's the platform like the fee structures looks like. And the last but not least, after the last slides, we just want to share after we communicating with so many different brands. Actually, we found out as a new brand, they have some common like challenges to go into China, set up their China entry. First, they are really new to China market. They might not have the brand awareness. Their lack of the market knowledge. Also, they are difficult to evaluate the business potential because they don't have this presence yet. And also, because of this status, it's very hard to get an equal partnership or get enough priorities from the distributor or platforms. So those are the major challenges. So our suggestions is, before doing that, some enough homework or enough like preparations from the brand we can prepare before in order to set up our own brand path to China. So 3 major questions also as a suggestions to put ahead when we're thinking about to go to China. First, do I know how's the market competition in China that my products play in? Second, do I know where we can play with our products and how to get success? Third, do I know what's the benchmark to evaluate the success? Those questions may not be directly solved for now, but if we want to go to China, build a very solid, controllable, sustainable business, those are the must-have like questions or answers for brand to think about. Okay, this is today's sharing because of it's only like half an hour. A lot of like concepts, a lot of like the new knowledge is to you maybe. So, but also if you have any questions specifically, yes, we can do that later. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tong Hao, for that very excellent and detailed presentation. So just to answer one of our questions here, Mr. Mohammed asked, will this video be shared? Yes, the recording of today's webinar will be shared along with the slides, so you can dive deep into the material later. And some of the last slides from Tong there contained some of the detailed costs and setup procedures for opening a cross-border e-commerce store. I see someone else has their hand raised, so remember you can ask a question anytime during the webinar. Just click on the Q&A tab at the bottom and type in your question, and we will answer it in the last portion. We have one more speaker now, and then we will do our final Q&A session. So introducing our final speaker, it's Miss Cha Yin. She's from Shishao. It's a e-commerce marketing company here based in Shanghai. She's going to talk about key opinion leaders, the ecology and the brand marketing. We all know about KOLs from our own markets on Google and Instagram, but the lifestyle and the influence of KOLs in China is just absolutely huge. You have to be here to believe it and to experience it. We see so much about Douyin and TikTok in the news now, and this is for many reasons because of the power and influence that Douyin and TikTok has reached around the world, which just exemplifies how important this kind of technology is in China. So we'll also hear about live streaming, so I hope you have some questions and you enjoy the content. Please, Ms. Chayin, the floor is yours.
Thank you for giving me this chance. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I can click. Does it work? Just try the slides switch. Okay. All right. Okay. There's like several seconds slow. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. And my name is Chai. Currently, I'm responsible for new or emerging channels, e-commerce channels in China for big health category sales, especially on the social e-commerce and live streaming business. And my background is interesting. It's about the biochemistry engineering. However, I started my work from product development in the Europe market and then transferred back to China market and focus on the e-commerce because this is a booming market. If we look at all over the world, and there are many opportunities. That's why we focus here. So today, I would like to share with you guys some like the past year experience in this social e-commerce and live streaming business. Some insights. Right. Okay. Today's sharing consists of mainly 4 parts. First part is about the industrial data and the market trend. And the second third is who we are, what we do. And the last part is what we propose, the overseas brands, how you come to China, and some tips. Yes. All right. So the first data shows in internal China, we do see there's still a big impact on the economics and also our daily lives. So we suppose this impact will still continue for a long time, at least till the end of this year and even mid of next year. It change. Next slide. Why we say so? Because according to the according to the big data on GDP wise. Sorry for the delay. So actually we see from all the industrials, we see there's a big drop from agriculture to the services. However, we see on the internet users, we have more people using internet and people spend more time online. And also we see the traffic goes from offline to online. Sure, thank you. So if we look at the internet users, till last year, we have already like almost 0.1 billion internet users in China, and but overall in China we only have 1.4 billion population. So almost all the adults are parts of the very elder people. All of them have the internet mobile phones, and we know that this year we also have a 5th generation internet. So we believe that this year we will have more and more people using internet. And next slide. On top of that, if we compare to the February of last year, we see that people spent over 40 hours per month, right? 40 hours per month per person. So that's the increase using hours per month. However, on the left chart, we can see this is the average usage time per person per day, and the right chart is showing the data per month. So we see that people spend more time on mobile, on applications. However, the offline traffic is missing, like all over the world, especially on the entertainment, including the travels. And the less impact field is on medical. So where the traffic goes, and we say that where traffic goes, where brand focus. So offline is missing, online is increasing. The next trend is that we see the online traffic structure is changing. Here I want to mention two new topics that Tong didn't mention much on the first part, which is private traffic generation and the live streaming. This is quite new, but in China, this is a topic that you cannot ignore if you do e-commerce business. And if we look at the structure, online structure before, meaning last year and this year, we see that the key account channels like Tmall, Jingdong that Tong just shared, they're still the mainstream platforms, but the contribution is changing. That we can see, like the private domain traffic and live streaming contributes more. So what is a private domain? What is live streaming? I start from the private domain. So the private traffic is that, for example, the traffic, the people, the consumers, you can contact on Amazon. The traffic linked to your store, linked to your brand via a third party platform. You cannot contact them. You cannot interact with them directly. So we say it's not a private traffic. You can still you need to still gain new users. You need to still buy the traffic, pay for the performing and all this money. You have to spend more money to get more traffic, but you do not have this traffic. So we say the traffic owned by the brand is private traffic. And the brand owners, you can contact your consumers directly. For example, you must have you have a brand account on the Facebook, you have a brand account on the Instagram, you have your followers. So here the followers is your private traffic. But if this traffic cannot lead to your sales, there's no sales circle, then we say it's only a pure traffic. It's only your pure people that they are not consumers yet. Consumers meaning the people who purchase your product. So here, the private traffic is that the traffic, the consumers you directly combine to your brand pool. That's the people that you can interact for your new brand, for your new products, for new methods, spreading. All these channels, we say they are private traffic. And now in China, the private traffic mainly focus on the WeChat, which is equivalent to WhatsApp. But WhatsApp is still relevantly saying it's a message delivering platform. But in China, WeChat is omni channel that you can chat with your friends. You can buy train tickets. You can buy everything. We also have mini app. What is mini app? It's an application without downloading, but it's integrated in the WeChat. So you can just follow account. You can add to be followers in this application. It's not an independent application. It's like a function. It's like a flagship store in the WhatsApp. So this is the private. So this is the private traffic that I explained on the definition. And so the private traffic, we can see that within this year, the first season, from January to March, WeChat store, we say it's like the mini app. WeChat store, you can imagine it's like a flagship brand, a flagship store in Instagram or Facebook. So here, the the open frequency increased dramatically. So people can talk and share the product link within this system without you can do the purchase, the payment without going outside of this system. So the consumer journey is quite smooth and user friendly, and without thinking that should I pay more? Should I go out? Should I download some application? Should I do something else? So without thinking outside things, you like this product, buy it because it's a link. It might be a link shared by your friend. And here I want to share one showcase. It's the top one we say in beauty, in cosmetics, the field that is a Perfect Dairy. It's a new brand coming within the past 3-4 years, and they have 2 to 3 main flagship stores within the WeChat, and they have already over 10 million followers. And for the last year, they have already achieved over 1 billion GMV, the annual sales. So it's quite big, and within this traffic, private traffic, you do not need to do like the TVC or the online TVs. You do not need to still spend those kind of money, those kind of budget on that. So all the traffics are within your brand flagship store. And this is okay. Apart from the private traffic, the second thing I want to share is the live streaming. So because most of the attendees now are not in China, but if you hear something about the live stream, the very hot topic recently is about TikTok. TikTok is application about the short videos sharing and also the live streaming, and we do have some battles in the US market. And why this is new application booming so fast? Because there are so many people who love sharing their lives, who love sharing their thinkings, who can show their how do they live, what do they like, and what do they want to sell probably. So live streaming is kind of daily life sharing, or can be a professional brand sharing. So it depends on how the brand you choose your KOLs. So here, if you look at the market volume, so this year is dramatically increased compared to the past year. It's more than this year's volume is even more than the past 3 years sum. So what is live streaming? Live streaming is like now what I'm sharing now. I'm presenting. I'm showing something, and now I'm sharing my insights. But for example, what I'm share is about the products. For example, imagine on my hand there's a cheese. For example, it's so you guys online are my followers. Now I start my show. it's a freestyle. So for example, hello my friends. I'm sure that in the past days you already seen my videos. That today I gonna give you a very, very good product promotion. What I found recently is very, very delicious cheese. You know that last year I have the chance to travel to Dubai, and I love their camel milk. And I found in their local supermarket there's a cheese made of camel milk. I never tried before. I think this is a very, very interesting product that I want to share with you. And you know that I have a foods background, and I already share with you so many things I love to eat before. So trust me and trust my choice, right? So today I'm very, very happy to tell you that after a long discussion, long negotiation with this brand owner, I have a very, very good price for all of you. It only exists on today. So you are lucky. Now, prepare your pocket, prepare your mobile, prepare your 4G internet. And now, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you can see the coupon on the screen. And on the bottom of the screen, you can see there's a chart. So you can it's number 1 link. Just go to the link and with the coupon you have 50% discount today. So it's a very good price. And now let me try for you. Wow, the texture is so good. It's milky, it's smooth. It can take one just cube per day. You can get full of calcium, all of the vitamins, the extract. So this kind of show is happening every day. It's happening by so this kind of the contents generated by many KOLs. So for example, on the screen that I show with you, this is the top. We say the top KOL on TikTok, and this man actually it's a brand owner of mobile phone in China, and we can see his first live stream performance. It's extremely good. That only within 3 hours, there are around 48 million viewers with sales performance on 110 million, almost $20 million within 3 hours. Imagine 3 hours sales performance makes this happen. But don't forget that this 3 hours is very well prepared before. So how they select the products, how they show the price, how they show the brand, how they show the product experimental behaviors, like what I just freestyle shared with you. If you trust me, if you're my real followers, you follow me for a long time, you probably trust, and with a good trial price, you probably will do the purchase because it's a good sale. So this is a live stream happen every day in China in many platforms. So this is a live stream. And by the end of the live stream, I would like to say in China, the KOL structure has like a triangle from celebrities, and then it's the top KOLs, and then it's the mainstream KOLs, and on the bottom there are many influencers who are not that professional, but they still have their groups. For example, like the moms, the ladies, the moms, they are the decision makers on the family purchase. So if you get a mom, then you get a consumer. You had a family purchase. So next topic is about the social e-commerce, because this is a channel that worked a lot before. What is social e-commerce? Social e-commerce is with the difference between social e-commerce and the mainstream e-commerce like Amazon. Amazon is like a platform. You can see the products listing on the platform. You click the category, you choose, you search by yourself. But social e-commerce, it's the business model. There are many business models, but the top one is about the S2B2C, supply chain to business owners to consumers. So the platform offer the supply chain, meaning they select the products, they select the brands, they decide the good price. To who? To KOLs. They combine the KOLs together. Then KOLs and consumers who they are strongly linked together. For example, I'm a mom, I'm in at least 50 WeChat groups. And each group has over 200 other moms. The moms I know, the moms might know each other. But we have the main topic together. How about like feeding our kids, feeding our family, how to manage the family. So they the ladies, they always have endless topics to talk, to share, to show. So these are the mainstream KOLs combining on the social e-commerce. And social e-commerce has achieved a big success in the past year. And in China, the top one called Yunji has been published last year in the US Nasdaq market. So we can see the traffic goes up dramatically. And the good thing is social e-commerce, you make social. So meaning that people do the purchase according to the trust. You trust people, you get a relationship closer. You do we can get the consumer journey closed easier. And apart from live streaming, there are many group purchase, and group can be organized by the community, can be organized by the moms, can be organized by the people you know, or you may not know. But all of them are based on the social platform. For example, like Facebook, like Instagram, like WhatsApp. Of course, it depends on these applications with the functions on purchase, on the short videos sharing functions. Okay. So the last trend I would like to share is that because our company is mainly focused on the big health, about health products, healthcare, health devices. So we see that if we look back to the current situation, that medical market has the less impact we see, and we also see some new categories, divided categories within this domain. So here we mainly separate the big health into 4 parts. The biggest one is about the health food, right? Food always contributes the most. And in the past, in the first half year, we see the total volume grows quite fast. And there are 3 divided categories we would like to pay attention. The first one is hygiene product. That like we know, on the first season, everyone has a mask, everyone has the jellies on the antibacterial. And the second one is immune enhancing, because if, for example, at the very beginning of the situation of the COVID, we do not have the drugs, we do not have the very effective solutions. So your immune system is your defense. So immune system is really like thinking, enhancing that people really understand the importance of your immune system healthy. And the third one is about the probiotics and weight loss, because people spend more time at home and we gain the fat easily. So the weight loss is get hotter than before. Next slide. Okay, so shortly just introduce who we are. We are a platform focusing on big health, the brands and new brands incubation, and also the e-commerce distribution in China market. And we do focus on e-commerce channel, and we offer professional customer service and operational services. And we do have a strong financial background and supply chain. So these are the 5 categories that we focus on: the healthy food, supplements, cosmetics, mom and baby, and healthcare. Here are the brands we work together, and we're our team, and the channels. So due to the limited time, I will not go to the details. There are the KOLs metrics that we work together. Capitals. All right, and for the services cases, like the showcase, I will not share the details today. I will go directly to the last part on our proposals. Okay, So the first thing is that if you are quite new for China market, we advise for setting up joint ventures with local players, because in this way you can bound to local professionals on the China market. Then it's easier life for a new brand. And second thing is that you need to customize your product portfolio for China market, especially to increase the healthy products, because this is the less impact market. And generally, we also have we say the healthcare or health market has the biggest margin. And the third one is that try about live stream, like what I just shared with you. but choose a good KOL. Choose good KOLs for your brand is quite important. It depends on how you position your brand and who are the target consumers and what is your brand strategy this year. What's the message delivered? So you have to check the KOL background. And the fourth proposal that we say it's better to start as early as possible to generate your private traffic, because this is a good weapon to resist any outside risks, let's say. All right, so all above is what I shared today, and if you have any questions, we can have more communication on the Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Chayin, for that very detailed presentation. So we're just going to run a quick polling question to get some feedback from you about our topic. I want to know, do you believe the China market is of high potential for your brand? So we're going to have a number of multiple choices appear on the screen now. So option 1 is yes, 100%. Option 2 is maybe, you're in the middle. Or option 3, you're not sure for now. You need more research and support. So please click on 1 and vote, and we will see what our participants are thinking. At the same time, if you have any questions in mind and you haven't thought to propose them yet, please just add them in the Q&A panel at the bottom as well. Okay, votes are coming in. Just give us a few more seconds while we get the last of our participants to vote. Do you believe China market is high potential for your brand? Okay, so we've got half the audience believe 100% yes, about a quarter, or just 20% or so, or maybe, and then about a third say they have to research and support more. But that's a pretty confident figure, the amount of people who believe that the China market holds great potential for their brand. So maybe we can talk to the speakers now in the Q&A section about which categories in particular are very popular with Chinese consumers through cross-border e-commerce and through channels like live streaming. So I'll address the first question. We have one so far. Now remember, if you want to add any more, please do. How does cross-border e-commerce help products exports from developing countries for primary agricultural products like green beans, say, from Ethiopia, especially in the B2C channel? So I'm just going to answer this a little bit myself, and then I'll have my panelists join me as well. First of all, for cross-border e-commerce, it is specifically for B2C only. It is not a B2B channel. And one of the reasons why cross-border e-commerce was actually set up by the Chinese government was because they realized that a lot of the foreign brands and products being sold in China on Taobao and Alibaba were actually coming from Chinese tourists going abroad, buying up a whole lot of brands and bringing them back in their suitcases or through other channels. Now, those products were coming back into China, and of course they weren't coming through legitimate channels, so there was no customs duties or tax, and there was no figures being counted on this trade. So the Chinese government realized that this was such a legitimate channel that they should actually make it easier for brands to sell online in China, and they did this by doing cross-border e-commerce. Traditional e-commerce means you have to bring the goods to China, you have to go through all the Chinese labeling, you have to go through all the necessary registrations depending on the product, you have to go through customs and the whole procedure. Cross-border e-commerce is similar. It's kind of modeled off that channel of those Chinese tourists coming back with it in their suitcases. That stuff can sell directly from Dubai or from Ethiopia. It can be stored in a bonded warehouse, but it's as if it came from Dubai or Ethiopia. It's considered a B2C transaction. And because there's a cap on the amount that the transaction can be, it can't be too large because it's a consumer transaction. That means there is a reduction on the income tax or the customs duties and the VAT, which would be applicable on the product. So if your product comes in through cross-border e-commerce, sometimes it's cheaper than if it had come for the final consumer. Sometimes it's cheaper than if it came in through traditional import-export models. So that's just a certain technicality. So that will be one of the first benefits for any brand really, or any product. Now, for green coffee from Ethiopia, I would say that's more B2B, because green coffee, I mean, it would be more about roasted coffee, and it would probably be more about a coffee brand that would be more suitable for cross-border e-commerce or general e-commerce in China. The opportunity it could give is it would allow a roasted coffee brand from Ethiopia, or maybe one that had been branded and packaged in Dubai. It would allow them to test the market through a cross-border e-commerce channel. They could find a TP, like we heard in the presentation today, and a TP could help them maybe design their own store, which would be, of course, a larger cost, or they might join a store that's already been operated by the TP, perhaps a agricultural foods products, and they might pay a listing fee, and they might do a profit share, and they might discuss a marketing budget as well. So in some cases, it can reduce your initial investment costs, allow you to test the market, and of course, you can forgo some of the taxes that will be applicable on your product. And the last thing is the last mile delivery, because if you're using those bonded warehouses in China, there's 86 now in this cross-border e-commerce scheme. They're going to be there in China already. So as soon as it's ordered, it's going to be delivered relatively quickly. Logistics in China is the most developed in the world. So it's just amazing. You can get nearly anything on Alibaba or any of these platforms in 24 hours these days. So just want to check to our panelists. Have anything, Tong Hao or Chai Yin, do you have anything to add on that question?
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. I think you built a very comprehensive point of view to this question. But also, yeah, maybe also I can share a little bit, yeah, from my experience, yeah, to implement e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce. Yes, I think Danielle made a very important point, which is first, it needs to be a brand product, which and also I just quickly quickly search the coffee beans in Tmall Global platform. Actually, the best sellers are sells really good with a roasted coffee, mostly from that areas, or maybe South Africa's, South America's as well. But also, yeah, I think to sell coffee needs also a nice stories, because for consumers in China, they are not born to familiar about coffee. It's a very like a borrowed or import or cultivated behaviors, especially for the well established consumers, well background consumers. But also like in China, in Tmall, last year they promote the coffee. These subcategories grows a lot, which is also in a trend wise, it's a very fast growing subcategory in food. So overall, I think it's a great opportunity. But also, in order to capture that, cross-border is definitely also a quickest way. But before that, at least, how do we build these products from the brand perspective, and also talking about and what are the nice stories around your coffee. It's something thinking about beforehand.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I personally want to understand now, because I think it's a common case. In China now, the economy is pretty much back to normal. I mean, if you look out in the streets, everyone's back to work. Only a handful are wearing masks, and there's basically no restrictions on domestic travel. It's been the first country in the world to recover. So a lot of people are looking at this market now as a potential chance to boost their exports, especially in this difficult COVID time. But right now, we can't come to China. I mean, if you're not in China right now, it's very difficult. You have to apply for special channels to enter China right now. So how can a brand in Dubai start this cross-border e-commerce journey from Dubai? What's the first step? Sitting at home, maybe they'll receive the slides, they'll receive the video later. But how can they do this now from home with their computer? How can they get in contact with the right people and start this if they, let's say, they won't have a chance to come to China now for the next couple of months? Tong or Chai, what do you think? Well, I might have to be very rude here and answer my own question. I think the first thing that you can do is, we saw here about the steps is finding a general agent is the first step. And then either you find the general agent first, and the general agent helps you find a TP, which is more or less an e-commerce specialist, or you just work with an e-commerce specialist straight away. So they're both in ways they can both be your agents. In terms of finding a general agent right now, I would encourage you to utilize our office here in China. We have two offices. We have one in Shanghai and we have one in Shenzhen. And we have a couple of opportunities coming up. First of all, there's a lot of online exhibitions going on in China. It is in China's interest now to encourage bilateral trade. So the Chinese government across many different sectors are organizing a lot of free exhibitions and matchmaking. So you can use these, and we post them regularly on our social media channels, both the China office and Dubai Chamber. Or if you're connected with me on LinkedIn, that's great as well. We post these and we invite you to participate in these online matchmaking sessions is the first step. You can send an email to our office as well, china@dubaichamber.com, and send us your product information. So we'll be able to look through that, and we'll be able to give you some feedback on the potential for the Chinese market, what channels, if or if not, it is a suitable product for the Chinese market. That's the other thing. And there is also something else I want to mention. In November in Shanghai, there is a very large, important exhibition called the China International Import Exhibition. It's called CIIE, and it has been established for 2 years now. And it has received visits from the president, the first time President Xi Jinping came the first time, and the second time he did a televised speech. And this is because it's a national level exhibition, and there's only a handful of national level exhibitions in China. So it's a very important platform for exporting to China. Most Chinese exhibitions are about procurement, because China is the factory of the world. So, but this exhibition is about selling to China. So it's a place where you show off your products and buy. So Dubai Chamber, we have a stand this year at the exhibition. Again, Dubai companies, it's going to be difficult for you to come to CIE this year, but you can display your products on our stand. So you get in contact with our office, and you'll have to get in contact with us in the next 2 weeks, because there is a logistics window, and we'll help you set up with a logistics company that can help you get a sort of like an ATA carnet to get your products to enter the country easily for the purpose of displaying at CIE. And at CIE, we are able, as an exhibitor, we're able to put your products into the database, and the organizers, which is the government, the National Ministry of Commerce, will arrange buyers to come and review your goods and pricing. So this is a great opportunity. If you want to send your products to us in China, please do it in the next 2 weeks. Get in touch, and we can exhibit them on your behalf, and then maybe we can zoom you in for the agent or importer meetings. So it's about as good as we can give you right now, until we can actually find a chance to bring you back here to China. So, anyone have any more questions before we wrap up? Tong or Chai, do you want to give us just a final word on which products you think from Dubai might be high potential, if you can jump in one last time?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, and I've never been to Dubai yet. But from the media side, that Chinese people heard about like the Dubai culture, and also like what we just discussed before the session about the camel milk. That's why I picked this example in the session. And actually, in the last year, camel milk is extremely hot. Well, people are roughly known about what is the nutritional benefits, but actually this is more concept driven. That Dubai, I think it's has the benefit on can be beneficial on the concept or cultural brands. For example, like if we look at the Mid East market, we know about camels, and when we talk about camel milk, we say oh, it's rare. It's not like where you can find everywhere. So first thing is it's difficult to find, and second thing is the concept is very good, because it's milk
level, yeah.
Right. It can be different. Should be different than the cow's milk or the other's milk. And the third thing is it's a new concept in it's a new concept in China market. So everything about new has the less let's say the most opportunity and less battles, less conflicts in the market. Because the first thing I think is focus on foods. Because if we look at the what the big data that I share in my session, the medical is the less market that has been impact. And the second thing is the foods is always contributing the most on the total sales volume. So I think if we can find some cultural based foods and also the cosmetics, because the beauty is the brand, is the domain that consumers and ladies do the purchase to the random purchase with the biggest opportunity. So I think basically, yeah, I want to share these two domains has the biggest potential on foods and cosmetics, and focusing on cultural base. Yeah.
Yeah, and furthermore, I think it's like because also we know very less about the Dubai and the culture overall.
Yeah.
But also something like some specialties from this country is always a starting point for us to think whether this can be something new things can be introduced to China market. For example, like when we talk about like a Dead Sea, like a concept. So
Yes.
a lot of like a cosmetic brand or cosmetic products like leveraging this Dead Sea concept, Dead Sea like a mineral or the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is something like also one of the like specialties that those type of the brands can borrow with. Or like also we came across some brand from Finland. Because that environment front for consumer minds is purity. So like something like the mineral water, or like some cosmetics, or even like for some supplement products, talking about the high quality purity of the ingredients, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's also quite popular because also it's coming from a very highly related to this country's specialty. So. Yeah, we can learn more about like how this great country is, what's a specialty before. Yeah, but this can be the starting point for you to thinking about. Yeah, how do we can bring that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your detailed presentations and that last answer. There's some good information for us to absorb, and exciting to bring some of these products to China. Thank you to Patrick from Al Nazma Chocolate. I'm a big fan of your chocolate too, so hope we can see you in China soon. Thank you everyone for joining, and please get in touch, and please email us if you need any assistance with bringing your brand to China via e-commerce or via traditional trading channels. All today's content will be sent to you, including a Zoom link for the video, and please also a Zoom survey will be sent to you to get your feedback on the webinar. So please fill out the survey for us. We would really appreciate it. Thank you again, and stay in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have
Bye.
a nice day. Bye.